Is recording. Okay, good. Like I said, over there, right? Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody, for your patience. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? All right, let me go ahead and share my screen really quick. All right, so everybody can see my screen, right? My email. Say yes, please, someone.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So first thing I want to show you guys, for those that are not as tech savvy. And okay, lo mismo. Lo mismo. Same, mismo is the same. The word mismo. Hey, Clint, can you hear me, Clint? Same. Gracias. Clint. Clint. You guys have to mute that computer, please. Okay, so let's move on. The first thing I want to show you guys, if you guys know how to utilize your favorite on your browser. So if you notice, if I click the little plus sign right here, it'll have all my favorites right here. Well, so it'll make it easier for you to navigate to get to where you want to be instead of punching in, wherever you want to get to and stuff. All right. So basically, the way you do it is you just go to your favorite.
Ruben,
star.
we can't hear, Ruben. We cannot hear.
Michelle. Because they do it every day. You do it like every once in 6 months. No, I'm not putting down the scissors. It's just me. No. And then I don't like to mess with it because we're tied in with SkyFlow. Yeah. And if I do something, I'm afraid I'm gonna. You know how they say split, remove. I know. And we can't hear anything because you guys are talking. Oh, sorry.
And where did he go?
All right, how about now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry for that. We don't have an IT guy anymore, so unfortunately I'm wearing two hats, so I apologize for that. All right, so the first thing I was saying is you guys can see my screen still, right? If you
keep asking questions. Okay, I'm on mute. Okay.
I'm sorry, Catherine, I don't understand what your question is.
Okay, no. What you were saying, somebody answer. I said, I've just muted it back. So I'm gonna unmute. So when you ask the question, I can say, yes, I see it.
Okay, I just want to make sure because we're having some technical issues here.
Okay.
All right. So if you want to utilize your favorites, you just click on the little plus sign on your browser, and then that's where you have all your favorites. So if you see, we're going to go over Zipforms today. So if I click on Zipforms, it goes straight to it. Okay. I just wanted to show you guys that so you guys don't have to always go in and type your browser. So if there's websites that you utilize on a daily basis, it'll make your life that much easier and stuff. So today we're going to go over Zipforms, okay? It's important. We're going to go over Zipforms, writing up an offer, uploading the documents, and also preparing them and sending them for e-signature, okay? It's important to know that don't use Zipforms through your CRMLS, okay? Peter and CDGR pays for the broker edition. It's a Zipforms plus broker edition. So use this browser right here, okay? I'm gonna copy. Whoops. Give me 1 second. Use this browser and go directly to Zipforms. I'm gonna paste it right in the chat, okay? So again, do not utilize Zipforms through your CRMLS account, okay? Go straight to Zipforms. I'm gonna go ahead and sign in. I think I'm gonna have to change my screen unless you guys could still see it. Can you still see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to go over is you have tabs up here, okay? A lot of them you're not going to need to use. Basically, it's just your dashboard, your forms, transactions, and templates, okay? I'm going to show you templates really quick, okay? The reason why I want you to use Broker Edition is because Anna worked very hard to create all these templates, okay? These templates will pretty much eliminate all the guesswork as to which forms you're going to need for what type of transaction. So if you don't use Zipforms Broker Edition, you will not have access to these. And then, somewhere down the line, you're going to have issues with your forms. So it's better if you just use Zipforms plus Broker Edition, okay? We're going to go ahead and go to transactions. You have a little tab here. It says TXN Tools. It has a clause manager if you want to, keep track of some disclaimers that you want to put in. Here's a field manager. I don't really use these, so if you want to navigate through it more, feel free to do so. But the main fields are your transactions right here, and then you're going to click on new. So right here, these are your transactions will show up right here if you do have transactions. I only have
Ruben, you're not showing. You're not showing. My screen is just plain white.
Okay.
So I don't know if anybody else, but mine was just plain white.
How about there?
Now I see it. Yes.
Okay. So what happens is when you log into Zipforms Plus, it'll open up a new browser. So that's why I asked if you guys can still see the screen. So when you do log into Zipforms Plus Broker Edition, this is what you're going to see. This is your dashboard. These are the tabs that I was talking about up on top, okay? Some of you won't have the admin tools because I have a admin account. But for the most part, dashboard, forms, transactions, and templates are going to be the only tabs you utilize, okay? You don't need to go through templates through here, this tab, because we're going to go through the transaction, and I'll show you in just a second. But I did want to show you the templates that Anna created. So again, what I was saying earlier, but you guys couldn't visualize it, is that Anna worked hard to get all of these templates put together. So when you click on one of these templates for the type of transaction that you need to make an offer on, all the forms that are required or that you're possibly going to need is going to be in that template. So it takes out all the guesswork for you, okay?
Ruben, I am in the process of updating it, okay? With some changes that have happened.
Oh, is that
the templates, yeah.
The home inspection?
Yeah, things like that.
Okay. Since we're on that same subject, we recently sent out an email and we're adding a new form that is going to be required for your buyers. This is only for buyers to sign. Let me explain why first. So recently there's been a lawsuit that arose. A buyer is claiming that he wasn't aware of the condition of the property, even though he bought and was furnished a home inspection. He's indicating that nobody explained to him and he wasn't aware of the conditions of the property. This lawsuit involved all the agents, all the brokerages, and also the home inspector. So we're going to implement a new form. Now, this is to safeguard both the brokerage and yourself. So understand, we're not just putting a new form just for the hell of it. We're always trying to protect our agents and our brokerage. So there's different options you have in that instance. You can use the new form that we are generating. You can have them sign the first page, but indicate that they've read all pages and they understand the home inspection and that they are aware of the condition of the property. Okay, regardless if you guys are going to work with requests for repairs and you guys are negotiating, they understand the condition of the property, okay? Or you can have them initial every page of the home inspection, which is kind of redundant, but that's another workaround. Or there's also two forms that you can utilize in lieu of those options, which, Anna, do you remember those forms?
RFR, your page that you created.
No, the two forms, RFR, and what was the other one? I'll send it out after this training and stuff. Okay. So right now we're going to go to transactions. Okay. For today's training, we're going to write up a new offer. Okay. So I'm as a realtor, I'm going to make an offer on behalf of my buyer. So we're going to go ahead and click new purchase. Okay. For name here, just go ahead and put in the address of the property. And for today, I am going to use, give me 1 second. 184 South Oak. (184) South Oak Street, Pasadena. Okay. This is just going to identify the file. That's its own purpose, okay? That's the name of your file. Now, the second thing, you can go ahead and input the address, or you can use the MLS Connect. I'm going to go ahead and use the MLS Connect, and the reason being is it's going to import all the information from the MLS, okay? So you don't have to input all that information, the APN number, the listing agent, and so on. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me get that number. And basically what I did is just copy and paste the listing ID number, okay? If you want to put the picture, you can put a picture. And there you go. So it located the listing, and I'm going to import it. I'm going to use this listing. I'm going to make an offer on this listing. Now, just know, this doesn't work all the time. In my experience, it probably works about 80% of the time, okay? So if it doesn't, you're going to have to manually input all that data, okay? So go ahead and use this listing. And you can tell by right here that it imported it, okay? Even though it doesn't have the address or anything, you don't have to input the address again. It already found it, okay? Second thing, category. We're going to do it's residential, okay? If it's industrial, multi-unit, you just pick whichever applies. Status is active because it's an active transaction that you're creating. And make sure you're your agent. So it should be your account once you log in. This shouldn't be anybody else. Now, the most important one is the template, okay? If you do not select a template, it's not going to do its work as far as giving you all the forms that you need for that transaction. So this is a very important part, okay? When you click on the drop down, you'll notice that it has all the types of transactions depending on your specific property type, okay? For this purpose, we're going to do a residential purchase. Makes sense, right? Okay. Click save. And it's creating your file, your transaction. And if you ever want to add something, just go ahead and chime in.
Okay. You're doing a good job.
Okay. So this is what you'll see first, okay? Now, you don't have to go this way, but this is the way I'm going to train. And I feel it's better this way because you're inputting all the information before, so that way you don't have to fill in afterwards, and it'll create a redundancy of you having to put in information on each form. So this is the way I recommend to do it. So I would go to parties. Okay, a lot of people just skip and go straight to the documents. I would go to parties. Automatically, you'll notice because I used the MLS Connect, it has my information. It has the listing agent's information. So you don't have to go and look for his email, for his brokerage number. It imports everything from the MLS. Now, if the MLS is incorrect, there's nothing you can do, right? But
Yes.
You could also, it also imported, because by default, we have First American Home Warranty and First American HD. If you leave these in here, that's going to be imported into your RPA. Okay, those are the services that you're requesting. If you do not want them, just click on the X and delete. Now they're gone. Okay, I'm going to choose someone else, or I'm just going to let the seller choose services. Okay, now buyer one. Okay, I'm just going to put buyer one just to make it simple. Email. Okay, this is very important. I'm going to put my email for here for right now. You don't need a phone number, home phone number. And if you have a cell phone number, get it. It's easier in the transaction if you do that. Okay, those are the only three critical fields that I recommend you filling out. Okay, if you do not put an email here, you're going to have problems sending it for e-signature. How is it going to go? How are you going to email it if you don't have an email there? Okay, so it's very important. Okay, another thing to note, if it's a trust that's going to be buying a house or an LLC, most instances it's not, but if it is, then you would put the LLC name up here, and then the person that's going to be signing down here. Okay, that's very important because that's going to translate into your RPA in the I believe the last page, Anna, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, and then also you will probably have to do an RCSD, backing up that this person has authorization to sign too.
Okay. So this is only if it's an LLC or a trust or a corporation that's purchasing the property, or you're making the offer on their behalf. Okay. So for now, this is going to be a regular person. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me move this real quick. I'll move it up here. I'm going to save. I'm going to go to buyer number 2. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my email. And save. Now, I am going to go ahead and put a third buyer, okay? The reason why I'm going to put a third buyer is because there's additional work that you're going to have to do to go get e-signatures on the forms, because by default, all our forms only have room for 2 buyers. So I'm putting a third buyer so you could clearly see how I navigate to get signatures or request signatures with 3 or 4 buyers, okay? This isn't always the case, but it's good to know. Let's just put buyer 3 here. It's a little different. And I always like to get at least that information. All right, let's save that. Okay, so we have our 3 buyers, right? We have the listing agent. We have myself right there as a selling agent. Okay, if you choose to, you can put the escrow services that you want. If it's very rarely do you use an attorney, home warranty, title, pest, anything else you choose. Okay, if you want to implement, or if you want to make the offer with your choice of services, this is where you would put it in. Okay, you could also put it in after the case when you're in the RPA, but the whole purpose of this is so that you don't have to do any of the work afterwards. Okay, so now we're done with the parties. Okay, now we're going to go to documents. Okay, so it's summary, parties. Now we're going to go to documents. Now, this is the beauty of using broker edition. Okay, Anna already has put all the forms that are required or that may be required or that you might need in the transaction. Now, it's not 100%, but it's pretty close. I would say about 95%, right, Anna?
Yes.
So if you notice, the first section is transaction prep forms, okay? And the reason why we have it in this order is I'm gonna show you why I recommend you guys going in this order. The second section is required forms. Okay, these are the forms that are required. So no matter what, this is what you have to submit for an offer. After that, specific requirements. This is only if, this is where your counter offers are, your RRs, RRRs, any form that you could potentially need in a transaction, okay? Now, it's not 100%. You might need another form that's not in there, but for the most part, they're all there, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with the first form, financing worksheet, okay? I urge everybody to use this because it takes out the math of writing up an offer. So go ahead and click on that. Okay. So once you click on that, it opens up a workspace. If you look to your right, this is your workspace, okay? And below your workspace, you have all your forms, okay? So your workspace is what you're actually working on, okay? This is the RPA finance worksheet, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with that. So we're gonna on this property, we're gonna make, I'm gonna just keep the numbers even, $1 million, okay? There's only 3 parts on this form that you have to do. Is your offer amount, the amount of the deposit, which I'm going to put your customary 3%. And then this is where a lot of people get confused, and your loan amount, okay? Not the down payment, the loan that they're going to be getting. They're going to be getting 80% of the purchase price, which is 20% down, okay? So don't confuse that, because otherwise your cash to close is going to be way off, okay? So right now, they're going to put a 3% down with 20%, a 3% deposit with 20% down, okay? That's it, those 3 parts. So once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go to my cover sheet, okay? Now to add from your transaction to your worksheet, you could either do the plus sign or you can grab it and drop it, okay? Either way, it's the same thing. Once I put something into the workspace, it's gonna populate into on the left side, okay? So here's the transaction cover sheet. As you can see, it has all the information that I already inputted. Don't worry about the seller information because you're making an offer without knowing who the seller is. All the property information is already there, okay? It imported from the MLS. It has the listed price, 1.220, and it has my offer price. This one probably won't get accepted, but this is what I'm using as an example. Okay, it has my information. It has the listing agent's information. So again, I don't have to input any of that information onto the RPA. And then any of the other services that I chose to put in there, it would have already populated if I had put it in the parties section, okay? So the cover sheet looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna move on and we're gonna add in the RPA package, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and drag it this time, just to show you. Once I dragged it, it's going to populate onto my disclosures, okay? With your disclosures, the RPA has all the disclosures you're going to be required to send for the offer. This is your AD. We're not going to go over the forms. I'm just kind of briefly telling you which forms are included with your RPA package, okay? Your FHDA, and notice all the information is already there. Your WFA, and then here's the RPA. So date prepared is one of the items that does not populate because you have to indicate which date you're actually preparing this, because this can be saved and then you can prepare it for signature tomorrow, the following day, or what have you, okay? The rest of the information is automatically populated, if you can tell. Now, this is an important part here, okay? I would say about 80% of our agents forget to do this simple check, and they are required to get additional forms, okay? Make sure you check the box for the agencies that apply to the buyer and the seller. So basically just doing that. If you don't do that, Anna's going to require an additional form. Okay, move on. See all the information, all the math, it's already done. So there's $30,000 deposit and $170,000 due at close of escrow, okay? Plus closing costs and so forth. Obviously, you have to go over all your contingency periods. And don't forget
purchase.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was bumbling. I'm sorry.
Okay. Obviously, you have to go over your contingency periods and fill in all of that when you communicate with your buyer. But pretty much everything else is filled out. Let's move on. We'll go over an RPA, a different training. I just want to kind of just go through it really quick. This is for Zipforms.
Ruben, can you go to Q16?
Q16. Where is that at?
Like the third page, I think.
You're making me go back.
You're making me go back.
There we go.
Okay. Q16. Do not delete this. Please leave this. It's in my template. What happens is when escrow or your loan officer receives this, the amount is already in there and indicated to please collect. If it's not, you could have a problem later on with the lender, and you don't want to end up paying for the compliance fee. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah. So again, using the broker edition will, resolve that. So it will eliminate any errors. Also, just note, there's a $600 by default. If I changed it on the parties section, then it wouldn't show up, but I had left it. So just so you know, you can change that. I'll just change it to 500 and so forth. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go down to the next important part of the RPA before we go to e-signature. So you notice that all this information is populated automatically, okay? Because I chose to use the MLS Connect. So I don't have to fill it in. I don't have to, look at the MLS and then also it's fail-proof. So all the information is accurate. Now, the only additional part that you have to fill in is the designated electronic delivery address, okay? Anna, you want to touch on that?
Yeah, so you remember that it is very important for you to fill in A and B. But in addition to that, you need to put an X right there where it says email above on both sections. Now, whoever's filling out the RPA needs to fill all this information. Remember, the listing agent information is on the MLS, so you just have to go there and get it and type all their information. But if you fail to indicate this information from filling in the information or checking the boxes, then you're going to do an additional form called DEDA. You don't want to cause more work for yourself, so you just have to make sure everything's complete.
So it's just that checking that box. That's it, right, Anna?
And make sure that the A information is filled in with the email address. You have the option to put a phone number, but it's the email address has to appear there for each of the agent.
So that's why I'm trying to show you that it's easier if you do all the work in the front end. So all this is filled out. So here, all I had to do is just put my phone number, which I don't know why it didn't show up, and then X, that's it. And you're done. Okay. And the rest of the forms are your BIA and so forth. Everybody is familiar with all that. So let's just move on. So from here, you can add a document for signature. So or a form, okay, let's click on that. Let's do that right now. So if you do there's two different uploads, okay? If you upload a form, then right here, form libraries, then it will automatically recognize where a buyer needs to sign or a seller needs to sign, and it'll populate the signature field there and date, okay? If you upload a document, so that's forms. If you upload a document, the Zipforms will not recognize it, and you're going to have to manually put a signature and date square for them to sign. Okay, and we're going to do that right now. So you just go browse, and then I am going to put the home inspection since we're talking about it. So I'm going to click on home inspection. It's just the first page. Okay. So if you notice on your workspace, now I have the finance worksheet, cover sheet, the RPA package, and the home inspection. So it uploaded it. And if you notice right below it, it says form, 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 and then the home inspection is a PDF. So automatically you're going to know that when you go to e-signature, you're going to have to manually put the fields for them to be able to sign. Okay, and I'll show you that in just a second. If you wanted to sign, for whatever reason, you want to sign a document before you email it to them, this is where you would do it. You would send it to yourself to sign electronically instead of printing it, signing it, scanning it back into your email. It's just a lot of work and stuff. So that's where you would do it. You wouldn't, I don't think you guys will use that very much, but that's where you would sign a document. Okay. If you want to email it to your client, let's just say you want to email the RPA and all the disclosures to your client before you send it for e-signature. This is where you would do that. You would just click on the RPA, and then you would click on email, send, and it'll open up a window for you to fill out and email it to your client. Okay. This is not where you would send it for signatures. Okay. So don't confuse both. If you want to download the documents, you can download it. Like you would just click on that, download it, and then it'll save it on your desktop or whatever exterior file system that you have. If you want to print the document, you can print it as well. Just click on RPA, print. It'll print all those forms in that package. If you want to trash anything, you can trash it here too. You would click on cover sheet and trash it, okay? So for this sake, that kind of goes over these little widgets there. Now, anything in your workspace is going to be sent for signing. So I don't need this RPA worksheet anymore. It's done. So I'm going to take that out. I don't need the cover sheet anymore. That's done. So I'm going to take it out. So the only two that I'm going to send for to prepare it and send for signatures is the RPA package and the home inspection. So let's go ahead and click on those, okay? And then we're going to do prepare for signing, little button up here, okay? So it'll open up a window. If you have an account with DocuSign, you can use DocuSign. I'm not familiar with Digital Link, but that's another one that you can use. I believe all those come with a cost. AuthentiSign is free for you as a realtor. You pay for it with your MLS dues, okay? So that's the one that we're going to be using today. Why not use it? It's free, right? It'll open up this this window here. Pretty much just select a folder that you want it to come back to. So once it's done and everybody's signed, it'll go back to whichever folder that you choose. So I'm just going to go ahead and click main folder, okay? And create. Takes a little bit of time, so be patient. All right. Once it's created the e-signature file, this is what you'll see, okay? Now, setting sign order, okay? I always put this toggle. What is this? So if you have 3 buyers, right, and myself, you could put it in order. So basically, I want myself to sign it first, and then a second person, and a third person, and or first buyer, second buyer, and a third buyer. If you want to send it to everybody all at one time, you can do that as well, okay? That's all that is, just the signing order. Then you click on add participants, okay? I go to add from transaction because that's going to give me a list of everybody that's in this transaction, and then I can choose from there. So add from transaction. And here's everybody that's involved in this transaction so far, okay? So the first buyer has to sign, the third, the second, and then myself, okay? The listing agent doesn't have to sign, so I'm going to exclude him. And then we're going to do select. And you'll notice, don't worry about, this is just a mapping, so you don't have to worry about that. We're just going to assign the blocks, okay? So if you notice, it automatically populated the signature blocks, the dates for everybody that needs to sign. Okay, I'm going to be signing first, and it's going to go to buyer 1 and to buyer 2 for execution. Notice that there's no buyer 3, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to tools right here, okay, on your right hand side. And we're going to go ahead and import those signature blocks. And then if you click on this drop down, who do I want to include? It's buyer number 3, okay? And I need a signature. When you click on a signature box, it's automatically going to give you the date as well. So I'm going to put them right down here. You can put it wherever you want, where it's going to be kind of clear, okay? So I'm just going to put them down here. Move that date down here, and you can resize it as well, okay? Up, you can just delete it, or if you want to add another one, you can add another one. You see, they make it pretty simple, okay? So there's the signatures, okay? Let's see. Okay, and if you wanted to, you see where it has a checkbox for the buyer, or if you wanted to put, you just wanted to go the extra step, you can go to, here's the full name, right? We're dealing with buyer number 3, so the full name is going to say buyer number 3. There it is. So if you want to put that right below so everybody knows who that is that's signing, you could do that. Again, if you wanted to make it, you know, you want to go the extra mile, you could put a check mark box. There it is. It mimics that right there. You could put, we could write buyer there. You could do all of that. Okay. So now that page is ready. Let's go to the second one. Okay. So I'm not going to do it again. You guys get the idea, right? You would have to do the same thing here. And then the same thing here. Same thing here for the third buyer. Now, this is only if you have 3 buyers or you have to add something, okay? If not, I would have went straight to e-signature, okay? Because it already imported all the signature blocks. Now, for pages that you have, you need initials, you just basically click on initial, drop it down, and there you go. You would do that for every page. I'll do one more, and you guys get the idea. Okay, let's move on. So that, you know, just review your documents, make sure their signatures are everywhere they need to be. Make it as clean as possible. Now we're going to go to the PDF that I uploaded, okay? Remember, it's not a form, so it didn't know where to put a signature block, okay? So we're going to do that ourselves. So this is where you would go to buyer 1. Right? Then you go to buyer 2. Whoops, let's go 2. And 3. Okay. Now, if they're going to sign this and you wanted to put a little disclaimer, you know, that they've read all pages, because you're not going to have them initial every single page, right? That's where you would go to markup page, markup, right? And you put in a little. I mean, you put your own disclaimer. I'm just giving you an example, okay? Now, if you click on that, you can go like this, make it a little cleaner. Okay, and that's it, okay? So now you have all your forms ready for e-sign, okay? So now you just click next. That's it. So if I send this, actually, I'll just send it. It's going to come to my email anyways. I'll send it. Now it went to me as the agent to sign first. Then it would go to my buyer number 1. Once they're done signing and initialing, it'll go to buyer 2 and then buyer 3. And then it'll come back to right here. If you click on e-sign, this is where you would be able to see the progress, okay? Click on e-sign and you see it sent. So it'll give you progress as to who signed And if it's completed, it'll let you know that it's been completed. Okay. Now, just note that, let me see, go back to documents. Just note that when you do send it for signatures, make sure you give them a courtesy call or text, because it's going to be coming from Zipforms, and they might not recognize the email, or it could go into their junk or their spam. So just give them a heads up, letting them know that you sent it out for e-signature, and for them to review, understand, and to execute it. Okay. Now, we included that home inspection report just as an example, but obviously when you're making an offer, you're not going to send that document. I just wanted to show you how you can utilize Zipforms broker edition and send any document for e-signature. So even if you don't have a file, you can go ahead and upload a document. So if you go to forms here, right? Let's say it doesn't even pertain to a transaction or anything. You just need to send something for signature, right? For a transaction or for whatever, okay? You're paying for this service, so you can utilize it. Just add a form, right? And then you would upload the form. This is from the library. So no, you go add. And no, this is not where you would go. Let's see. Oh, so this is for forms, so this wouldn't work. Let's go back.
It's probably where you have the list of all your documents, and there you would add.
Maybe, yeah. Docs in box, I think it's this. Oh, here we go. So you add a doc. So it'd be doc in box. So this is where you add a document. Remember, it's not a form, it's a document. So you would click add doc, and then if you have it in your Dropbox or Google Drive, wherever you have it, that's where you would locate it. And then it opens up my browser. So for this case, let's just go with home inspection redacted. Right, okay. Now it's right there. So the same thing, I would open up the document, and then I would prepare it for e-signature and then send it out. So this is a good tool for you guys to use anytime you need something to be signed electronically. Okay. I think that concludes our training for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free. We have Anna here and myself. Anna, do you have anything to add?
No, you kind of did a really good job in detailed on what you need to do.
Hey, Ruben.
Yes, who's this?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, how?
Yeah, this covers the caveat that you are talking about, the buyer's disclosure, that they have read everything, right? On the mark for the disclosure.
You're talking about the form that we created?
Yeah, remember earlier you said that we need to have be able to have the buyer agree that they understand everything.
Yeah, so if you remember let's go back to that form.
The disclosure, the home inspection.
Yeah, so we created a disclosure. It's a form. It's an internal form from Coldwell Banker George Realty. You can use that form and not have to get the home inspection signed. But in this case, I prepared the first page of the home inspection for them to acknowledge and execute. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't put the verbiage in the text box, because I was just using it as an example. But the same way I created that document to be executed via AuthentiSign, you would just simply put the disclaimer there.
Okay, with the mark, right?
Yeah. So let me see
And Ruben, I brought up your email. You gave them option 1, have the buyer sign the new form. Option 2, obtain the buyer's signature on each page of the home inspection. Option 3, have the buyer sign the first page of the home inspection with a similar disclaimer indicating that they have read, reviewed, understood, and accepted aspects of the report and property condition. Option 4, have the buyer sign the form RFR. Option 5, have the buyer sign a BIW form if they're They elect not to have an inspection conducted on their behalf.
Does that make sense to everybody? If not, please ask so that way, because it's very important. It's going to safeguard any potential legalities for you and the brokerage.
Anna or Ruben Carlos, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I've been using DigiSign, and that, I know either one's, if they charge, it doesn't matter because it always comes back to the broker edition of Zipform, right? The DigiSign.
Repeat that one more time, Carlos.
Okay, because I didn't know what I was doing about 2 months ago. I used DigiSign.
Yes.
And I opened an account. They never asked me for a credit card, but it doesn't matter because it always comes back to Zipform. Is my main question.
No, if you use DigiSign,
yes, sir,
it's not going to come back to Zipforms. DigiSign is
SkySlope.
It's SkySlope. So that don't come part of SkySlope, okay? And they do charge, okay? So just not a whole lot, but Zipforms uses Authentisign. Authentisign is Zipforms' version of DocuSign.
Okay.
It's not free because you pay for it with your dues.
Right.
Is you pay for it with your dues, but you don't have to pay for it. So you can utilize it as much as you want.
Okay, I'll start using it.
Okay. And you don't have to use it just for, I mean, anything you need signed, you can create it. You just got to upload it and then send it its way and stuff.
Okay, thank you.
We did have a question. KP, I don't know who that is, but we don't have the templates for business listings and purchase. Anna, do we?
I'm sorry, say it again.
She's asking if we have the templates for a business listing or a business purchase.
Business opportunity? Is that what they're meaning?
Yeah, let me go real quick.
I do.
Yes.
I do have
Big Kenny.
Oh, Kenny. That's KP.
Yes.
Okay. Kenny Fang. Kenny,
Yes.
let's see. Do we have business? These are the templates right here. Do we have them?
Yeah, I should have one.
Where are they?
I don't see it.
No, it's not on here. Business opportunity. Yeah.
I'll review it again. Maybe it's on the listing side. Maybe you don't have it on the sales side. So I'll review it. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
That's a great question, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So we're going to be adding 2 templates for business opportunity, both.
Yeah, just reminder. Yes.
For a business listing and a business purchase. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody?
Thank you, Ruben.
Yes.
Happy Friday.
Oh, happy Friday to you, Kenny, and happy Friday to everybody that's with us today. So, okay. Do we have any other questions? All right. I take it that everybody's an expert at this now, and
we're experts.
Yeah, and whip up a
yeah, right.
An RPA in 5 minutes, right?
Don't give them a test now.
Yeah, just play with it. Just play with it. You'll get the hang of it.
It's practice makes perfect. You practice, and you'll get it eventually.
But if you have any questions, just shoot me a text or
Anna.
Or Anna too. But try me first because Anna has a lot on her plate and stuff. But the most important thing is first you have to get those buyers, okay? And then once you get those buyers, then you'll be an expert at making offers. And how do you get those buyers? Prospecting. You know what? I want to share a story that just happened to me this week that hopefully you guys absorb and embrace and don't do the mistake that I did. So just 2 days ago, my neighbor, literally 2 houses down, put up a for sale sign, and I was kind of like, what? How come he didn't come to me and stuff, right? So just this morning, I saw him in the morning and I was talking to him, because he's moving out, and he forgot that I was in the business, plain and simple. So that's how important staying top of mind, your family, your friends, all your close sphere of influence, and your neighbors, at least in your 2-3 block radius, should know that you're the person to go to if they need to sell or buy a house. So I'm accountable for that. It's my fault. It's 1.5 property, so it would have been a good commission. But I didn't do what I was supposed to do and keep everybody in the loop that I'm in the business and stuff. So don't make that mistake. Okay.
Send your flyers out.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and all that, and they'll remember you.
Halloween, birthdays.
Yeah.
Any opportunity that you can get to create communication, to socialize, that is going to get you business stuff, eventually. Okay. So it's not like you're going to get it right off the back, but just communicate, be a social bird and stuff. Okay.
Hey guys,
Yes, sir.
hey guys, we're gonna have a Halloween party on the Thursday breakfast meeting at the WSGBR. Okay, just let you know.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, 9 a.m. Halloween party.
Okay.
9 a.m.
So, and also we're going to have a Halloween gathering here. I sent the flyer out on the 30th, Monday the 30th at 12 o'clock. Okay. It's going to be hosted by the First American team, Brandon, Angie, and Sandy. So if you guys want to come, it's like a potluck style and stuff. If you guys want to dress up, but come say hi. And then also we just confirmed our holiday Thanksgiving luncheon. That's going to be November 17th, Friday, November 17th. Okay. So save the date for that date. I'll be sending out that initial invite and flyer momentarily. It's the holidays are amongst us already. So you got to get out there, socialize, let people know, because come January, February, hopefully the rates drop a little bit and entice buyers to buy and hopefully sellers to sell. But all we can do is just continue the daily grind and get your name out there. So when the business opportunity presents itself, you're the first person they think of. All right. All right, folks. If there's no other further questions, we'll see you next Friday. And you guys have a safe and happy weekend.
Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you, Ruben.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, Anna.
Bye, Carlos.
Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome, Kenny.
Hey, we never got sound in here. Yeah, that's like my phone.